Hi friends, I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe. It seems like all rules in English have an exception, doesn't it? This can be confusing and frustrating.
However, learning a few of the exceptions can help make your life easier. In this video, we're going to look at 4 groups of words that change in pronunciation based on where they are in a sentence or what letters they are placed beside in a word.
Ready to get started? First, let's look at the articles an and the. These articles can change in pronunciation depending on where they are in a sentence.
Now, of course, you know the rule that A precedes a word with a consonant or a consonant sound, and an is used before words with vowel sounds. But did you know that even the word an can have different pronunciations?
An can be said with a short A sound, an, or with a schwa sound, which is un. And of course, the can be said the or the.
How do you know which way to say these words? Well, as far as the is concerned, you'll first need to identify if the word that follows it begins with a vowel or a consonant. This will determine which pronunciation you'll use.
For example, I didn't finish the article because it was too long.
In this situation, because the is followed by a vowel, it is pronounced the. This is true for words that start with vowels or vowel sounds. For example, our starts with a consonant, however we would say, he will be home within the hour.
The other pronunciation for the is, of course, the, with a schwa sound. Could you clear off the table? The T in table is a consonant, so we would use the soft pronunciation of the. This goes for words with a consonant sound as well, such as the word use, U-S-E. Use begins with a Y sound, so we would say, what is the use of this table?
Okay, let's talk about an. The reason this word changes sounds isn't the same as the. The changing its pronunciation before vowel and consonant sounds is a hard and fast rule. But for an, it's not so much about what follows as it is position in the sentence.
If an appears at the beginning of a sentence, we say it with a short A sound. But if it's in the middle, we'll say it with a schwa sound. Listen to the 2 pronunciations here. An elephant walked into an exhibition.
Did you hear the difference? You know there's some other words that change in pronunciation as well. Function words.
That's right. And, or, for, and of are 4 examples of function words. They aren't as important as the other words in a sentence.
Therefore, they can change in pronunciation. They often drop letter sounds and move to a neutral schwa sound so that other, more important words in a sentence can be emphasized.
Function words can also merge with words that come before or after them. Let's look at some examples, starting with and.
Listen for and in this sentence. Gabe and David went to have pasta for lunch. Did you hear the dropped D on the and between Gabe and David?
No, I didn't because it was dropped, Anne-Marie. But do you know what I did hear? Another function word in that sentence, the word for.
Oh yeah, they got pasta for lunch. I could have said they got pasta for lunch, but I didn't. Because for turns into fur when said like this.
Well, next, let's look at or. A similar thing happens to or when said quickly between 2 nouns. Do you want to eat cake or pie?
Or to is kind of like for to fur, isn't it?
That's right. Okay, so our last function word to look at today is of. Of often goes to a schwa sound and completely drops the F sound. Here's an example. As Anne-Marie was typing this script, I was actually eating a bag of chips.
It's true, it was my bag of chips. Did you hear the dropped F before chips? Bag of chips.
Well, no one heard that F because I dropped the F, that's the point.
Well, speaking of dropped consonants, I think that's something else we need to talk about.
Yes. Let's talk about words that end with D or T.
When D or T appear at the end of a word, and the next word begins with a consonant, The sounds these letters make become softer or are dropped altogether. After the end sound of D or T is omitted, the rest or the first word is generally blended into the second word.
Okay, so for example, light fixture, belt loop, and great time all drop the T at the end of the first word, then merge the second word into the first word. Listen again. Light fixture, belt loop, great time.
D does the same thing. This trend can't last long. The D at the end of trend and the C at the beginning of can't merge into a different sound altogether.
Have you ever heard of GoFundMe? Go fund me sounds totally different when you say each word individually.
Here's one more example. The road downtown is always crowded. In this example, because the word after road begins with a D, the two words just share one D sound. Road downtown.
The important thing to remember in all these cases is that it's not incorrect if you want to pronounce the T or the D. However, your English will sound much more native if you do drop those consonants.
That's a great point. You know, sometimes pronunciation changes not by dropping sounds, but by adding them. Let's take a look at the suffix ed and how it can sometimes change a word by adding a syllable. It's a tricky rule, but once you learn it, your pronunciation will be that much better.
Okay, so here's the first part of the rule. When ed is placed on the end of a verb, its pronunciation depends on how the rest of the word is spelled. If the verb ends in a D or a T, ed is pronounced as a whole new syllable.
This new syllable makes an ed sound. The verbs blend and trust are good examples of how this works. When ed is added to the end of these words, it creates a whole new syllable. Listen, blended and trusted.
Did you hear the extra ed sound at the end? Blended and trusted. Got it? Good.
Here's the next part of the rule. If the verb ends in a vowel sound, or L, N, R, B, G, M, Z, S, or V, then ed is just said like a D sound. It doesn't become an extra syllable.
So let's look at the verbs spell, rub, and scream. They all end in a consonant that was on that list. When we add ed to them, they become spelled, rubbed, and screamed. No extra syllable or ed sound.
Two verbs that end with vowels are cure and carve. They follow the same no extra syllable rule and become cured and carved.
If you thought those were a lot of examples, feel free, of course, to watch this video again.
And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you found this video helpful. See you next time.